thank you, Ankur, for joining us today on Let's Talk Business series by RealtyNXT.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Ankur, I want to know from you, could you tell us, we'll we'll go back to the journey when Ashiana Housing was earlier known as Ashana Engineers and how it came to its current form. And your father, Mr. Om Prakash Gupta, what kind of challenges did he navigate through those early days?
Oh wow, it's that's an old story. Ashana Engineers was started by seven partners. My dad had failed in a couple of businesses, and I think seven friends were sitting down. I think six of them were civil engineers. Said, "What should we do as a business?" And everybody said, "Real estate sounds like a nice idea in Patna." There was no group housing at the time, so they thought, "Why not we start it together?" And that's how I think the company was born from the real estate perspective. And obviously at the time there was whatever I heard from dad were very challenging times. So I think steel was also in quota. Deals in real estate was very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Group housing wasn't heard of. Seven partners coming together with seven different mindsets were more difficult. But I think my dad got lucky. One thing I think he did very well, and I think we I really appreciate him, and that's something which sticks back to all of us in the company, and especially the three brothers who run it now, is that when he split up, he made sure he's friends with all of them. So the way he split up was very amicable, and I think their kids and us are still friends, and so it makes the feeling very very nice. And that continued with two another friend of his as a partner, and that's how Ashana Housing Limited came into being, which was 86.
So I want to know your story as well. In terms of when did you realize it is your calling to get into, real estate vertical?
So I had no idea. I think I was doing some a thing called Lifeline with a few friends of mine, and I was thinking, what are the life choices I've made? And I think till college I had made no life choices. It was all just directed by my parents, and whatever they said, I thought was they know right, and I just went with it. And so one of the first things when I was going to college, which was the US, my father had decided. I think he studied in the US, so he wanted me to study there. Before I was leaving, he said, "You have two choices. You can go and work in the US, or if you learn a lot and if you can bring it back to your country. So you decide what you want to do." And that kind of was not a choice. It was just telling me to come back and give it back to the country. So I think that was clear in my head when I was going that I'll come back and work in the country. And my dad being in the real estate business, I kind of after my fourth year from bachelor's, I was looking at what next to do. And my father started talking about senior living, and I started exploring senior living in the US a lot, and that intrigued me a lot. And for my masters, I did my masters in science from NYU in real estate, and that there also I specialized in senior living. So there I was getting more and more clearer that I really enjoy this, and this is something I really want to do. And if I'm going to go back to India, having the opportunity of your father running a company, there's nothing like it. And that was very easy to deal with. It wasn't difficult when generally, especially second generation, first generation. I think the day I came, he gave me the checkbook saying, "Ankur, here, take the checkbook." So he gave control, he gave power, he gave your thought a lot of meaning. He wanted new blood to come in and give new direction to the company. My elder brother was already there. It was an easy transition in that sense. So really appreciated that.
So in global market, we have seen from the beginning that the senior living market has been there. It has also evolved with the time. But in India, the time you guys started senior living segment, did you face any kind of negative sentiment? Because India is known for family, right? It's known for the culture. It's known for staying in a joint family. So did you guys get any kind of a negative feedback to this?
Oh yeah, I remember one day so I used to do sales at the time. I was learning, picked up the phone call, and a consumer said, "You are changing the fabric of the nation." And I said, "Sir, thank you for giving me the power that I could change the fabric of the nation, but I don't think I'm big enough for doing that. I'm just recognizing that there is a change, and I'm catering to it." So I think that's the truth, right? We knew that the nation is changing. There is a change. There is a need which was happening. Actually, elder abuse in India was at money. It's been very, very high, and we all know it, but we kind of hiding behind
True.
the curtains. And I think recognizing that and creating a outlet for the seniors was very, very important. And it was very, very difficult in the beginning and at the same time easy. The easy part was because real estate was in a boom, and when we started selling senior living, some of these guys bought it because it was a real estate. There was a dearth of supply. At the same time, the difficult was to make people understand the concept. First, my team did not understand the concept. I had seen it. To tell the sales guy what senior living is was very difficult. So they didn't understand it, and they always compared old age home yahan hai, senior living yahan hai. Old age yahan. So it took a lot of time, and then to take that and describe it to the consumer took a long period of time for us. And I think by the time the consumer understood it and got into it, it was I think 4 or 5 years down the line.
Yeah.
Even after the product was ready, I had to do a lot of change in the way behavior happened. So that was very interesting. It was very challenging, but great. And one more thing I think about this whole thing, I think a developer told my elder brother that why are you doing this? We are a joint family. And my elder brother asked him, do you make 1 BHK flats? He said, yes. And aren't you doing the same thing? So I think, the question really is that the world is changing. We need to accept it. And we need to make sure that, instead of actually not accepting it and trying to resist change, we should accept it and make sure that the seniors who are kind of living a much better life. And that's what our aim is.
So could you tell us more about the senior living project that has been, done by Ashiana Housing, so that our viewers also know what kind of senior living project is all about, what goes into it, and is the amenity similar to how you take a residential home?
So one of the things we take a lot of pride in, if you look from the outside, and if I don't tell you it's a senior living, it won't feel like a senior living. So for anybody outside, if they come into the project, it would feel like any housing whatsoever. Facilities are similar. But the biggest difference lies in the services and the companionship. I think the biggest is the companionship. So, hum umr ke dost, milna is like a big thing. So one of our biggest problems is loneliness.
Yeah.
Even when we stay together, we might be internally lonely. And senior living allows for that to happen. And I asked this question to a lot of my friends, what was our best time? And they would say, yeah, high school, yeah, college.
Yeah.
So can we create that environment again? So we're basically creating an environment these guys make their best friends again, where they're free, where they're not judged. The environment doesn't allow, say, if a 80-year-old is dancing like crazy, nobody's saying that he's crazy. It's just, that's life. That's what he's doing. He's enjoying himself. I think the environment is a very critical piece of the play. And so one is the companionship, the environment, and third is the services. So we have dining services. We give a lot of the homely food. So if people don't want to cook, can come to our services. We have activity executives who curates activities. So we have about 125 different kinds of activities. And we say that if somebody wants to play Ludo, to somebody to play Sudoku, whatever the choice, we will try to create it. We're also giving now tennis and box cricket in our project. So somebody thinks of senior living and they think, no, box cricket, and we're saying, why not? And whatever they want to do is what is the curation all about from the activities perspective. And we have about 30 odd clubs of different kinds, where dance, music, very different kinds of club, photography, depending on what the consumer wants. And the third piece is what we call the safety and medical side of it, or health side of it. I don't like medical. So we help seniors live a better, healthy lifestyle. And if there's a problem, then there's an ambulance and an emergency system for the same to happen.
And how does the maintenance thing work in this kind of, senior living residential homes?
So we maintain all the projects. It works in the same manner as any other regular housing, but the services are obviously higher, and they're divided into two kinds of services. One is part of maintenance services, or like regular activities are part of maintenance services. Your security, your maintenance, your electrician, plumbers are part of your maintenance services. But dining services, medical services are all on pay by use.
Okay.
So we divide the two into pay by use and part of maintenance services.
So everything is taken care by Ashiana Housing. Correct. There's no it's been not outsourced to another company, or property management services like how we have seen. Are you guys doing?
So my father, in
Yeah.
the one of the difference he did was in the 80s when we were doing our first, when we left, like we were doing work in Patna, but he started work in Jamshedpur, and he went back to Patna to see one of his old projects, and he, with so much love, he had made it. And when he went to the project, he said, "I don't want my brand name." And he was talking to a friend of him, his, who maintained Jamshedpur, the Tata township. And he said, "Why don't you start maintenance?" And in Jamshedpur in 87 or 88, we started our maintenance company. So since then, I think whatever project we have delivered, we still maintain. So whatever was what was delivered in 87, 88, it's been about 40 years. We still maintain that project.
Nice.
So we have a love for what we do. So not just senior living, but even regular housing we maintain. And senior living obviously requires a lot more expertise
Yeah.
to have the manpower, the training, and all of that, which we kind of cater to anyway.
That's interesting. And also, we have noticed that the brand itself is quite expanded to different regions. What do you consider when you are, shortlisting a location? What are the key factors do you consider when you're entering a market?
It's always very challenging to figure out new locations. I think from a perspective of senior living is demographics. So we want to look at demographics, which is what's the population of the percentage of older people, what is the per capita for them, things like that. But after that is the kind of land we can get and the partner we can get. If we get good partners, I think land partners are very critical in our play. We need good people to work with. And thirdly, we also look at if in the market, do we have enough differentiation? And if we do, then we like to enter that market. And we depend on people. I think if can we get good people to hire, if you get good people and great land partners, 90% of the problems are kind of solved.
Yeah.
And 10% is just evolution.